or rather our next problem owner with three business challenges, right, is none other than the YCH Group. And just a couple of quick facts of YCH. It was founded in 1955, and YCH Group, right, is Singapore's largest homegrown supply chain solutions company, right? It has grown from a passenger transportation company to an integrated supply chain and logistics services provider, right? It's gone regional as well. So it's a very big sort of player in the logistics market. And our next speaker he has a tough task, right, of presenting three business challenges, right, today, right? From here to the end of today's session, our next challenger will be our hero, okay? Because he's going to present a very interesting, very dynamic business in the logistics. So basically, if you solutions for all these challenges, right, you have the ability to influence the logistics sector, right, across Singapore, and not just Singapore, but also beyond, regionally, and even perhaps globally. Okay, I'd like to invite right now our speaker from the YCH Group, Mr. Ryan Yap. He's the head of growth at the YCH Group, and I'd just like to intro Ryan a bit. So Ryan is the head of growth of YCH Group, and he's focusing on YCH alchemy of growth. Okay, so this basically constitutes the strength of YCH through organic growth, collaborations, and M&A strategy. So Ryan is the growth guy for YCH. Okay, so he has joined YCH in 2018, and before that, I believe he was in the legal field. So maybe we can get Ryan to share a bit more about his background later on. So Ryan, are you ready to share on your challenges?
Yes, Billy, sure.
Hi, Ryan, welcome. So basically, I just want to, because we have three very big challenges, so I just want to be sure that we start on the right track with the first challenge. Or just to confirm, the first challenge is the title is Expand Video Analysis and Insights to Drone-Mounted Data. Am I correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, Ryan's going to present this problem statement on how might we expand the capabilities of video and image in order to automate and optimize drone-operated cycle counting process. So ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Mr. Ryan Yap from YCH Group. Take it away, Ryan.
Hi, thanks, Billy. Thanks for the wonderful introduction. I think you may want to change jobs.
Thank you. You have an opening for me. Thank you.
So thanks, everyone. We do have three problem statements. But as Billy mentioned, I'm a lawyer by training, so this is a walk in the park for me. So we present three different problem statements. Why they are challenges is primarily because they require a number of adjacent capabilities, which are not really where we play. We are supply chain solutions experts at heart. So things to do robotics, AI, we like to deploy them, we like to use them, we like to create innovative uses for them, but actually developing is something we like to work with other partners. All right, so what is this drone-mounted data? So let me just skip this slide. All right, so what we do currently in YCH is we actually deploy autonomous drones in our warehouses. The idea was to use it, the idea is to use it for inventory management, right? And this process we've been mulling about with it for about, I like to say 5 years. We've gotten it to a point where it's safe, it does what it needs to do. And now we're at the point where, okay, everything is stable, what's the next? And for us, the next step is not so much the flight, it's rather the improved analytics, the additional layer of visual analytics that can be done as the drone is flying. So what the drone does today, right, it's actually flying along the aisles autonomously. We set it up, we press a button, and then so it knows where it is and it will fly. As it's flying, it's taking pictures and videos of our cargo, right? And it's tracking at these labels as well to identify what's in front of it, matching it with what it knows of its location, and therefore it can tell that the inventory is in the right place. Now that is useful to a point, and it saves us quite a lot of time. The drone can fly through one aisle like this. I think it's about 500 to 700 pallets. A pallet is like that, right? In about 15 minutes. In a normal scenario, it would take 2 people with a reach truck about 8 hours to do an equivalent job. So once we nail that, actually, it makes a lot of sense, even though the cost of drone is prohibitive, generally speaking. But now we want to take it the next step. So what we want to do is there are basically 3 aspects. We want to do what we call smart inventory capturing. We want to do automated analysis, errors, defects. And the third one is if someone can help us to create an analytics dashboard and integrate with our proprietary supply chain software systems, that will help a lot. So what do I mean by these 3? Okay, so the first one is as I said earlier, the drone, this is a picture. Sorry, it's not moving. So this is the drone right here. This is a version 4.0. And what it simply does, right, is it's actually taking videos and images as it goes along, as I said earlier. Right, so let me go back to this. So it's as it's flying along the aisles, you actually get to see the video as it flies by. What we want to do with this is actually have a kind of system that can actually tag the video as it's going, such that, like, for example, minute 10 of the video, it detected a particular pallet. Ideally, these can be tagged throughout the flight so that it's easy for us to actually inspect the video as a facsimile to actually inspecting the cargo in real life. Right. And obviously, yes, we can be hardworking and do mathematical calculations, but it'd be better if we can do it smarter by clicking on a particular, let's say, a pallet number. It will bring me straight to the video in question. Right. So that's kind of the first step. Right. So just give a scenario of what it looks like. So basically, after it's done its job, there's a 15-minute video clip. Right. And if the solution can actually tag this whole video, such that it's in a human interactable format. If I click on a particular palette that I suspect something has gone wrong, you can bring me straight to that video frame, right? So I don't have to sift through the whole 15 minutes. I can just manage my exceptions. And that brings me to the second part, which is as it is flying by, ideally with the image analytics, it will be able to detect for things like location mismatch, volume metric mismatch. For example, if a pallet is, let's say, 2 meters tall and it's inspected that's actually become 1.5 meters tall, ideally from the video, the solution will be able to flag that out as a red flag, right? Which goes back into identifying that specifically where in this video am I going to find this particular error, right? So 1 and 2 are very tightly integrated. But number 1 is more of a video management tool, and number 2 is actually the smartness of detecting something has gone wrong, something is missing, something has been moved when it's not supposed to be moved, or there's damage, right? So if it's perfectly fine, don't tell me, I don't need to know, right? So that is in essence the main 2 points of what we want to achieve. Now the third point is ideally all this information can be produced into a dashboard, right? So that we can easily skim through and manage this wealth of information, because in our warehouse we have 150,000 pallets. So that's a lot of 15-minute video clips. That would be about 3,000 if my math is right. No, 300 15-minute video clips. Yeah, I cannot pay anyone enough to watch 300 videos. I cannot pay anyone enough to do that. So ideally the dashboard and all that can have a easy way, right, for us to identify which of these video clips there's something wrong. And then from what you have identified as something going wrong, I can click into that particular second minute of the flight and determine that something is actually wrong and then take action. So in a way, I can move my people up from manually checking to actually taking very calculated adjustments to something that's gone wrong, or something that's what we know should be the actual case. So this is the big value add that we hope to bring with this particular challenge. All right. So before I move to questions, so we were told to put in this slide, but going based on what I saw earlier, we don't have to. But basically, we've done similar models with other startups before these advents of good innovation platforms like what IMD has set up. And what we had done with the drone company, is we had actually worked with them for about 3 or 4 years, and with a promise to buy a certain number of the product, right, as well as to market together. So that's something we can do, but long term, medium term. Immediately, of course, we are proposing about the $30,000 prize money to get us to a prototype ideally. And of course, you'll be exposed to our ecosystem, our supply chain city here. We used to see about 5,000 visitors to our site every year. So that's a lot of exposure for anyone that works with us. Yeah. I do apologize for the slide. I think I'm moving once. I'm using 2 screens. I'm moving one, it's not moving the other. So if anyone needs me to move back to a particular scenario, please let me know. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that's the first problem statement. Do we go to Q&A here? or?
Yeah, I think we should. Yeah. Hi, Ryan. Thank you for a great presentation on the drone, business challenge. We would like to take questions on the floor right now. I believe we have some coming in, but allow me to just interject and ask my own personal curious question. So basically, Ryan, what options did YCH consider before coming to OIP?
Okay,
in terms of looking for a solution, yeah.
Sure. I mean, generally, my innovation team is pretty small. Vikram and Jauha. Jauha is actually an intern, but I'm hoping to hire him. And Vikram. So it's just like 1.5 to 2 people actually in the innovation team. So we tend to look for multiplier platforms, things like Switch. 2019 I presented. And Trade Connectivity Challenge. That one's by ESG. So we also try to support the national these innovation ideas, but that is what we do on a concerted effort. Then the rest is actually serendipitous in the sense that we go to particular innovation events, or people send us marketing emails and we check them out. And of course, our own normal research and sourcing, like IPI, NRF, SG Innovate. So those are the things that we do as we have to fill up 8 hours a day. So that's what
Okay, but thank you very much. It's a pleasure and an honor for me to meet the entire YCH group, innovation group. So very much very 3 people here. So just to let you know, I'm very interested in a job that involves watching nothing but video. So if you ever have an internship opportunity, let me know.
But the 300, you spend 350, you spend about 4,500 minutes watching nothing but this.
Okay, I do like videos, but I'm just kidding. Okay, anyway, I'll move on to questions from the floor, because I think there's a lot of interest in this particular business challenge as well. So, okay, Edmund is back with a question. He says, could you post the video of the drone flight, or could you share the videos of the drone flight? What do you say to that, Ryan?
Yeah, so we can share video of the drone flight. Unfortunately, I mean, the video, wait, hang on. I must clarify, is it a flight of the video or the drone in flight, or a video that is obtained from a drone flight?
Okay, if I were to second guess, Edmund, probably the video that he can use to train his machine learning engine.
Okay, we actually received a request for that earlier, and I think what we responded was we're happy to send it to you, but due to the video having our customers' cargo, I have to uphold my confidentiality obligations. So anyone who wants a video of the actual flight, the cargo, must sign an NDA with us before we can.
Okay, so just to make clear, you need to sign NDA with YCH Group before they allow you to have the sample videos for your, to train your engines and so on.
Yeah.
Okay, a question now from
anytime.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot, Ryan, you have a legal background, right? So I forgot that you know all your T's and C's and all that. Okay. Question from Joel Tan. It's a 2-part question. So first is, what resolution and frames per second FPS are the drone cameras recording at? So that's one.
Okay.
Secondly is, what kind of damages do you commonly flag in your warehouses? Yeah.
Sure. Okay. So generally speaking, damage doesn't have to be like, the box is damaged or whatever. Sometimes because all these are shrink wrap, right? Not very eco-friendly, but we use sustainable shrink wrapping. So there's that. Right. We have to do it. Otherwise, the cartons fall over the place. But ideally, sometimes even if the shrink wrap itself is damaged, right, that can open, for want of a better word, open the can of worms, for us to go investigate someone doing funny things with the cargo, when they shouldn't be, right? Because again, the idea is inventory management. So this includes accuracy, location, quantity, condition, right? So if even the shrink wrap, if the thing is able to tell that the wrapping has a hole or it's not nicely wrapped, that is actually that could be an indication that someone has done some hanky-panky, which is valuable information for us. So that is the sample of what we mean by damage. Beyond the obvious, maybe if there's a big fat hole in it, that'd be great also, like to tell us. Yeah, but we're happy to work through what's possible. I mean, of course, we present to you, this is the extent of our problem. If we need to lower expectations accordingly based on what's real and possible, then we're happy to discuss it.
Okay. What about the information about the resolution and FPS?
Okay, so for the resolution, the capability of the camera is up to 4K. For the FPS, I'm not entirely sure, because the issue is that due to the speed of the drone flight, it has to be reasonably high, but I don't know the exact number. As for the resolution, it goes up to 4K. They're using a 4K
up to 4K. Wow, that's a lot of data generated. Okay.
Yeah, but we don't use it at 4K because of data
size. Yeah, correct.
Yeah, data size. We can we can if there is a good use case such as this, then we will invest more on getting that data.
So opportunity there for people who want to push a 4K resolution, editing on the visual.
The camera is already
footage.
4K.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, that's cool. All right. So coming up next from Anonymous. Okay, what are the lighting conditions in the warehouse like? Yeah.
Sure. Okay. Lighting condition in the warehouse, generally speaking, is fully lit up because the area where the drone is flying is a manned environment. We have a completely lights off area, but that is fully autonomous, so it's okay. Don't worry about that. This will be lit up. Yeah. And it has to be lit up actually. So
okay. Yeah. Cool. So that was a very light-hearted question there from the floor. Okay, coming up next from Adip, he's asking, hello, Ryan. Regarding the processing, do you compute on edge or cloud?
Okay, computing-wise, we currently don't really compute. It's all done post-flight on the actual ground control station itself. Because again, as I explained earlier, the data flow is relatively simple. It's more of a matter of matching what's there and some other things that I cannot disclose. But it's very simple. We don't currently deploy edge or cloud as of yet. That is something we are keen to explore. With things like 5G and all that, we're happy to look into that. But show me
but it's not within the scope of this challenge, I would assume. Or are you open to possibility?
Open.
All right, so Ryan's open to
as long as there's real benefits from it, happy.
Okay. So that's a very, very good sign. Yeah. Okay, that's really cool. Okay, up next, will YCH be able to share the approximate dimensions of the cargo that needs to be detected, that's required to be detected? So are you able to share the dimensions? Okay.
We can share, but tomorrow it will change. That's the reality of my line of work. Because supply chain, I provide service to my customer. My customer changes cargo size, then I have to be beholden to that. And we have, like I said, 150,000 pallets, not all from one customer, multiple customers, multiple brands. So I can give you a range.
A range of the most popular, the most common ones. Okay, that's cool.
That one a bit tough.
In your challenge statement,
we can give you the gamut.
Okay, that'd be cool. That'd be great. I think that'd be useful. Okay, thank you. Okay, up next, let's see, from Rachel. Okay, is YCH able to share what is your existing warehouse management system?
It's a proprietary to us. It's our own system developed by our IPR YCH technology.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But I'm assuming that the finalists and the winners, will be able to interface with this, right? This,
definitely.
WMS.
It's moving to an open API structure. Even if it's done as a separate application, we can help. Sorry, we can corral our own IT team to interface with the application, provided the application has an API. Then that should be. Yeah. So it doesn't have to.
Today we have a lot of questions as well. Okay.
I have two more statements.
Thank you, Ryan. Sorry. Yeah, two more. Right. So basically, I'm just pointing out because you're getting a lot of questions here on this. I think we have a lot of drone flying enthusiasts here, if I'm not wrong, including myself. I'm just kidding. All right. Okay. So from Hendrik, he says, are you able to share how you localize the drone in the warehouse, and if the location of the drone can be used for the analytics?
As I'm given to understand, the exact mechanics are a little bit beyond my training. But in essence, the drone knows where it is because we pre-map the route, right? So the drone does actually know where it is based on certain coordinates. So that can be used, and we are actively using that as a basis to determine whether it's at the correct place, looking at the correct thing in front of it. So that part we have figured it out in terms of safety 100%. But it's what do we do with that information furthermore, apart from just saying, yes, it's here, right? We can't tell if it's a black eye, it's missing a leg. I can't tell anything.
Okay. Yeah. But the drone knows it's flying around. It knows its location.
That's correct. That's correct. That's cool. But if that becomes a technical thing, we can schedule a discussion with the actual drone vendor as part of the, correct. So I guess that can be something you factor into the solution proposal. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you. All right. Okay. More questions for Ryan and team. Okay. Edmund saying that yes, Edmund, who had an earlier question, he was referring to the video stream, of what the drone was recording. So I think we answered that already.
Okay.
Yeah. So a question from Ajit. Are you currently decoding QR codes on the video, or do you take still pictures for that?
So we do both, but to identify the pallet in front, that is a QR code.
Okay.
Yeah, because basically this is our pallet label. There's a QR code, there's a barcode that is a human readable set of digits. So that is, we have it in front of every single pallet. That is part of our method, part of our SOP. So yeah, so we've tried to make ourselves to be drone ready infrastructure.
Okay, that's very cool, man. Okay, just two more questions, and this one more from Edmund, and he says that other than the video, can we obtain other telemetry from the drone's navigation system? What do you say to that, Ryan?
I say possible. We have to contact the startup that we work with.
Okay.
It's Aerolion Technologies. We actually did a press release a couple of years back. But yeah, we can definitely check with them on that. And exactly what data points you need, that would be also helpful. You can reach out to me, me and the team via the email. The contact is
okay.
Yeah, you can email us. We'll work with the team. We get back to you.
Cool. And one more question from
we'll also send you the NDA since you want the video.
Yeah, must sign NDA. So remember, guys, Ryan is a legally trained, so yeah, he will make sure you sign the NDA. Okay, one more question from Joel, and it says, are you able to share the name of your drone partner?
I think I just did Aerolion Technologies, ALT.
Aerolion, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm very familiar with them. I think they used to work with us as well. Okay. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Exactly.
So Aerolion is quite famous, I think. Okay. One more question from this is Puwana, and it says, double deep rack type or single deep rack, and I suppose it's referring to the warehouse, right? Okay, single. Okay.
Yeah, correct. This is single deep, double deep. We still have to figure out how to get that done. If you have an idea, I'd be happy to hear it.
Okay, so Ryan's open to new ideas, Punawan, so business opportunity there. So thank you very much, Ryan. I think it's time to move on to your second business challenge.
Sure.
So take it away, sir.
Which one is it? Is it?
Okay.
Is it the
according to our program, it's supposed to be optimizing goods and people movement in a smart warehouse.
Got it. Okay, one second.
Thank you.
This optimizing movement of people.
Yeah. So in the meantime, I just want to summarize the problem statement for this second challenge from YCH Group is, how might we use advanced, adaptable, and connected technologies to optimize the movement of people and goods, thus creating an efficient integrated warehouse system? Very cheap, Ryan.
All right. Yeah, so it's a very cheap problem statement, but that's because your consultants are very cheap. All I really want is to create the first step in working in a hands-free fashion, right? When we propose to start actually with our forklift or reach truck operators, our MHEs, material handling engineers, right? So what we really need is, I think this picture sums it up, right? Is currently what happens is, this is what forklift drivers or MHE every day, right? They drive to a location, they pick up a pallet of cargo and they put it away somewhere, right? Because we are paperless, we actually scan everything. Okay, paperless sans label, not label, which is paper, but we will put labels everywhere. They have to scan. It's paperless in that sense. What happens is that sometimes there are errors, and sometimes it's just difficult to scan at the velocity that we need, and it's just another thing for them to remember. Ideally, the process, the fix that we're looking for is relatively simple in terms of the idea, which is something that can do the scanning for them, right? In terms of picking up the pallet number, right? And then the location number, we will put it away, and then our system will do the matching. So basically replace the human action of picking the scanner and scanning. That is really what we're looking for this particular scope. There are further things that we can do, which is down here, but in essence, if you can do this, if you can do that scanning replication, that's fantastic as it's already. So we are looking at 4 things in total. Number 4 is more of the architecture concern, but let me start with number 1. So we decided to make it a little bit easier. So just imagine we have Philip, who's a forklift driver or an MH, material handling engineer. He works at our warehouse. With this in place, what he can do is he basically never needs to step off his machine, never needs to whip out the scanner. All he has to do is just drive as instructed to, right? And the system will manage the data entry for him, right? That means as he drives the forklift, what he's picking up will be identified. Where he's putting the cargo away to will also be identified, and also vice versa when he reverses the scenario, right? So for example, and here also, if let's say he's putting it in the wrong location, let's say he needs to go to 01B27, right? He puts it at 01B26, which is possible because it's a massive warehouse. ideally the system will be able to tell him, the solution will be able to tell him that he's wrong and tell him why, right? Then he can rectify it without having to actually either change the system on the back end or whatever. You just follow what the system prescribes. Yeah, so that would be what we hope can be done in this the first leg of the solution, right? So that what this means is that he never has to worry about scanning. He doesn't have to remember things in his head. He just moves the system, give him the continuous feedback that he's doing it correctly, he's doing it right. He can just focus on driving safely. And all right, okay. So number two, the second leg of the solution really is that with all these, right, this is something our system already can do. It's just that currently what happens is we don't, it's not closely followed because currently our system just recommends the best solution. We would like to enforce that you only put here. And we can't traditionally do that because of the limitations of the scan stuff. If with the solutions in place, then everything can be dictated by the machine. I think by our system, that's essentially it. Okay, how do I down? Okay, I think actually that is it. So yeah, like I said, so extremely simple. Just can you build me something that I can put on my forklift or my drivers can, my MHEs can just wear on their person and will handle all the scanning that they need to do for them. Either it be for scanning the cargo and then scanning the location away to the rack, or the other way around, he takes the thing from the rack, make sure it's correct, and he puts it in the correct place for the correct truck to come pick it up. Ideally, that would be all we want for this. So relatively simple problem statement, but there are challenges, which I'm happy to share, which is, in essence, we don't necessarily own all our forklifts because we lease quite a few. So whatever you develop will need to be relatively modular in the sense that I can actually take it off without violating my lease. Yeah, I think that is really the hardest part for us. So we've been looking for a good solution to this, haven't really found one that hits ticks all the boxes.
Okay, thank you, Ryan and team. Ryan, okay, speaking as an outsider, right? So my question might be very silly, but just putting out there. So basically, I mean, you have contemporaries in the logistics world like Amazon or or IKEA, for example, right? So I'm assuming that they already have similar technologies or even commercial technologies out there that can do what you want. So why not turn to off-the-shelf technologies, for example? Yeah.
So from what we have found, there is not really one that works in our particular scenario, which is something plug and playable, right? Because it requires, first of all, the software side is relatively simple when it comes to picking up the cargo. Let me just move to the appropriate slide to make my point. Okay, so here, right? Sorry, no, I go one back. So when this is happening, when you actually pick up the cargo, that's fine because there's a big fat target on the pallet, right? It's such a full pallet is huge, a big piece of cargo. The problem comes is when you get to the location, right? The location here, the location ID or whatever you need to scan to ascertain the correct location. A lot of them are using things like XYZ and whatever, which we find is too extravagant. We actually put labels on below every single of these orange racks down here. So our challenge is, can that not be used to seal the deal, right? If not, can you recommend, can the solution recommend a way to make that happen, as opposed to making the forklift super smart? Because we have labels all over the place. It's just a matter of standardizing them and you working with that standardization to automate all the scanning. So that my forklift drivers can really just drive, because the turn that they have to do is quite punishing. On top of having to remember everything else and be safe, it's not easy.
Yeah, it's a difficult task, I must say. Yeah, but I think I've come to the right platform, because OIP, our tech solvers are very innovative and very creative. And okay, right now we can move on to questions from the floor to help them understand the scale of Ryan's challenge for this part. So I'm going to take a question from Adib. And Adib's asking, do you have CCTV cameras already installed in the warehouse, Ryan?
Yeah, we do. But that is moving to a direction that we haven't really considered. But yeah, again, if you have something that revolves around the CCTVs, then that can hit the granularity that we're talking about, yeah, go for it.
Yes, cool. Okay, Adib, I hope that inspired you. Okay, a question from Varun. Would it be possible for you to mount a camera on a forklift and provide power to it?
That's precisely what we are proposing to do. As for the power and how to mount, please, that's why you're getting the 30,000. So.
Oh yeah, gonna make the tech solvers work for the kind of very very rewarding cash prize.
Generally all our forklifts are electric types. We don't have any diesel forklifts, not since 2-3 years ago. All have been switched. Entire fleet has been switched to non-diesel, so they're all electric. They all have batteries, and that should be able to be tapped. We just don't know how. That's not our field, right? As I explained earlier.
Okay, I'm pretty sure out there in our tech solver community, we have people with expertise to advise you on this. Okay, a question from Rachel, and Rachel is asking, is YCH able to share what are the kinds of inventory stored in your warehouse, and would it be in the metal heavy environment? What's the three-part question? Last part of it, sorry. Performance of RFID will be impacted in different kinds of environment. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So we do use RFID in our warehouse, right? But we are trying to move away from that because it's not ubiquitous. And also the drone doesn't really require that. So ideally we want to move away from RFID. So I hope that doesn't kill your buzz. And the one before that is, sorry, the second question was whether I have heavy stuff and all that. Generally, that should not impact the solution. Like I said, I am a logistics company. I don't control my customers that come in. I don't have a particular slant that say some companies, they say, oh, I only do cosmetics, or I'm very good at doing cosmetics or alcohol. So they specialize on that area above all others. They're still good at doing everything else, but that's their specialty, so to speak. YCH, we don't really have that kind of specialty. We're good at doing two things: supporting fulfillment, supporting manufacturing, which happens to cover all. So therein is my answer, which is I may not now, but I may in the future. So hopefully that doesn't impact the solution. Two, and sorry, I forgot the first question.
I think that's about it. I think you answered the question more or less about the metal heavy environment and so on. Yeah. Okay, just let me double check. Double check. Yes. Basically, what Rachel wanted to ask, what kind of inventory is stored, but you just explained that you actually have a wide range, right? Wide variety of inventory.
Correct. Yeah.
And she was worried about the metal heavy environment because I suspect Rachel wanted to propose an RFID based solution, and metal environment will impact the frequency and all that.
Yeah. So just a little bit of a history lesson. So we actually do have a RFID company within our group structure. We have a minor stake in it, but we did push the idea to them. But after a while, we realized that it's not going to be sustainable moving forward, because if you put RFID on the metal racking, the proximity doesn't make sense. So which is why we didn't go ahead with RFID. Even though almost all my pallet ID labels are currently with RFID, but as the COVID chip shortage has showed us, that may not be so reliable.
Okay, sorry, on a related note, Ryan, what sort of networking or what kind of connectivity options can the warehouses support? For example, can you support 5G? Yeah.
Okay, so 5G, it can be done, but we've actually had certain discussions with certain folks who do that, but the cost is extremely prohibitive for what we can do today. But if there is a revolutionary use case that justifies the price tag, of course, yes, we can. But for now, 5G, hopefully we don't really need 5G because the number of use cases, it's like this would be one of two. It doesn't justify the heavy investment for indoor. But you're 5G.
You're open if somebody has a feasible proposed solution for you,
using
open, 5G. Okay.
Open, but I know the 5G price tag, so that will definitely affect the overall.
Okay, understand. Yeah. Okay, I'm pretty sure our audience are interested in using 5G as a test case as well. Okay, never mind. We can move on to a question from Edmund. And Edmund is asking, how are your bins labeled? QR, barcode, or text?
Okay, so when you say bins, I assume you mean the racking locations. If that is the case, then currently it's by barcode. We can look to implementing a QR code, but we have to deal with the number of real estate that is on the bar, because it's a thick metal bar. But if you were to put a QR code, you have to contend with how big you need it to be in order to make sense with the amount of distance. Because if it's so big, then you can't put it. If it's too small, then the fella has to go way too close before you scan anything, and that's very dangerous when you're having a one ton wooden pallet going into a location. So hopefully they don't have to make micro adjustments. So it needs to be of a certain size. So yeah, I mean, we're happy to work that out in the trials.
Okay, thank you. Any more questions from the floor? We still have maybe about 30 seconds left for Ryan to answer questions for this particular challenge before we move on to the final challenge from our YCH group. I was wondering whether any of our friends like Edmund would like to ask any more questions. If not, don't worry, ladies and gentlemen. You can send in your questions for Ryan to info@openinnovation.sg. And you can also check out the full challenge statement and all the details, right, on www.openinnovation.sg, right, and look for the challenge from the YCH group. Okay, if not, we would like to invite Ryan to present on the final challenge for today from YCH group. And I believe the title is Enhance Customer Engagement Through Smart Order and Delivery Scheduling. So a bit of a different tech sort of challenge for our tech server community. And the problem statement is, how can we create a smart ordering and delivery scheduling system to provide real-time visibility of product ordering, delivery, and scheduling for a positive customer experience? And I tell you, all my online shopping friends are very excited about this problem statement. Okay, for some reason, I don't know why. So Ryan, can you please present on this challenge? Thank you.
Sure. So we currently service a number of customers, as I said earlier. One of them is a certain leading PC brand that actually pioneered selling direct to customers, right? And eventually they grow to do B2B stuff, and we also handle that as part of our service, right? So what we actually do, they are a number of things, but right now we just focus on what we call customer service. Right? And customer service is not just raising problems, because this is a B2B environment as well. You're talking about dealing with retailers, distributors, points of contact that belong to such principles, right? And they make big orders, they send things like email. It's still quite old school, because this is a problem that doesn't exist in Singapore. Actually, the team the team doing this service sits in Malaysia, right? And they deal with, it's not everything is so nicely digitized over there, and we don't necessarily have the power to force them to, because like I said, just a supply chain provider, they are the big fat retailer, distributor, they will do what they want to do, right? So a day in the life, or rather there are 4 key processes that we're looking at. Okay, so the first one is basically what happens is they send us, for example, their order information, right? The first point that can go wrong is their contact information could be invalid due to typo, due to the fellow has left the firm, but usually due to typo, right? And our team actually has to manually filter through all that, because our customer has very high standards on us, and our team has been able to deliver. But like I said, due to COVID times, work from home, it's actually been difficult, right? And there's actually incentive to automate this process. So a simple filtering solution that can actually figure out what's invalid or not would be helpful, right? So relatively simple. The second part is they actually I wouldn't say manually, our team works very hard. They look at all the orders, right? They basically batch them according to the order raw, right? Because the retailer doesn't order everything nice and neat at the end of the day. They will drop orders as and when they like, and we must consolidate and book one appointment slot for them. So that consolidation is something that we do with blood, sweat, and tears. Ideally, again, a system or an algorithm can actually allow us to automatically consolidate this based on certain business rules that we will definitely work with to make that clear to whoever is the solution provider on that front. So consolidation. The third one is actually there's a updating of the booking system. So currently the orders are made by many different avenues, phone call, email, WhatsApp, things like that. So ideally, we would allow someone who can help us actually create a portal that can do all these ordering online digitally, right? That's one. And also, if possible, because some people only use phone call, allow us to track all these engagements in a way that can trigger automated actions. For example, someone picks up the phone call, it's an easy to use portal. The guy can say, I spoke to so-and-so, I need to make this certain action at 2 p.m. tomorrow, right? And then hopefully the system can track all this down and prompt the person at 2 p.m. tomorrow, say, hey, you called this person, you need to do something, Ideally, this would help to make the lives of our customer service team a lot better. Then they can focus on actually providing good service to the customer and customers actually. So these are the real like 3 or 4 main chunks that we're looking at in terms of process automation, right? Yeah. So this okay. Actually, I kind of explained all this already. Yeah. So I guess we'll go into the scenario. So what does it look like, right? So the first part is actually filtering out all the errors and invalid contact details. So hopefully, like I said, the system will basically be able to trawl through all these contact information and figure out what's misspelled or what just doesn't make sense, missing one number. These are things that we still have to deal with. Currently, we use Excel, right, the world's favorite program. But if someone can do it automatically, that'd be helpful. Right, and then number 2, right, is actually all these so-called self-serve ordering our customers ordering online, and also able to consolidate all the interactions we have with our customer. So ideally, right, instead of us having to get on the phone, okay, you want this time, we can actually just send links to the customer just keys it in themselves, very nice and easy, simple user interface, which would interface with our system so that we can do the scheduling from that point on. Why is this important and why is it here? Is because we're not just looking for different pieces of different scenarios to integrate together. Hopefully someone can provide us the full suite because it's extremely complex. And unlike a B2C customer, B2B customers and more cloud, they tend to make a lot more changes. So it needs to be really simple, idiot proof to convince them to actually make these changes to the whole ordering system, because it's a lot more natural for them to pick up the phone and say, hey, I ordered something 2 hours ago, I changed 15 minutes before my delivery time. It does happen that we have to deal with this. Okay, next one. So the point I will make is the last one. It's basically that due to the myriad of ways you actually interact with the customer, hopefully someone can also help create a sort of simple portal that can actually track and record our engagements, right? Reason being is because we also have to report this to our principal, the PC brand. How we talk to the customer, how many times have we called them, did they pick up the phone, did they not pick up the phone, and what's the action that we take. So if someone can design something that makes it easy to enter this information in and also prompt us on the follow-up actions, that'd be great. Yeah, so that's it.
Okay, thank you, Ryan and team once again. This is the final challenge you're presenting for today. I think it's going to be it's been a long day for you, but don't worry, we're almost at the end. So allow me to interject with one, again, a silly question from me, right, as usual. Ryan, I just want to ask you, what you're looking for sounds like it's pretty much what the market can offer you in terms of just kind of customer relationship management solutions, right, the CRM. So just want to ask you, what are you looking for that a typical CRM on the market cannot offer you? Yeah.
We're looking for something that can do the job of 3 or 4 applications in one. And also something that can actually work with our unique business rules, because there's a certain logic to the way we consolidate things, and they're quite supply chain driven. And as you know, if you go to those established players, you want to make changes to the products, you start to pay through the nose, and we don't have the budget for that kind of thing. Logically speaking, because again, this is an innovation that we're doing. It's not going to make us millions, but it will make the lives of our 5-6 people a lot easier, right? So it's not something that we spend that kind of money on. Like I said, we're doing this as an additional service. The main bulk is still handling the logistics, the procurement, supply chain planning, making sure they don't run out of stock, servicing the factory, right? This is an extra service we add on. So it's not something that we're willing to make that kind of huge investment on to buy 3-4 different systems, integrate them all together, force them all to get along, and pay millions to do it. That's not what we do. Yeah.
Understand. You're looking for a more innovative way of doing it instead of the 3 or 4 different applications. Okay. We have a question from the floor right now, anonymous. I think maybe wanted you to clarify on this point. So what system is YCH currently using to manage the bookings?
Microsoft Excel.
Okay.
Yeah. So currently what happens is the orders come in either by email. We do have a portal, but I don't think it's used. Yeah, I don't think so. So it's primarily by phone call, WhatsApp, email, shouting, and basically we key this into our system ourselves. So ideally, someone can create a front that can take this data and then push it into our systems, right? Rather than have our people do that on hand, because it's just dictation. There's no, I don't get actually, there's no real skill involved, right? It's just tedious and it takes up their effort, of actually coordinating, because this is half the job. The other half is still coordinating with our warehouse, right? And that part cannot be replaced by simple automations, right? So hopefully the customer facing part can be automated, so that, okay, our system has told me this, okay, warehouse, you need to do this, that. So our customer service team is actually more supply chain trained rather than customer service trained. So hopefully the customer service sites can be taken care of, so that they don't have to do so much manual entry. Things just happen for them and they can make sense of the data and the action and the changes that happen to them, and proactively act on it rather than have to take this down and then think how to do it and then go. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Ryan. I guess maybe another silly question I have is that you seem to have experts in your team, right? So why not consider building in-house? I mean, just a devil's advocate kind of a question, but why not consider building in-house?
Sure. Two words: opportunity cost. Really, because we rather focus on building our supply chain solution software. So these are things like the analytics engines. These are things like creating new business rules, creating systems that can scale with our customers, manage our ASRS, our automated systems, also handle our O2O integration. So those are things that we build, right? Building a customer service platform, not that we can't, but it would detract too much and it may not be the best, because it's we don't know the in-depth how to build a good customer service system, right? We build enterprise software more, and that doesn't look very nice.
I understand, and I believe that we have quite a few experts in our community of OIP tech solvers, so I think you've come to the right platform once again. Okay, exactly. We have a question from Jing Yi right now, one of our most active questioners today, and Jing Yi is asking, is there a list of the minimal pieces of information that you all currently need to collect per order in Excel? Similarly, at the different touch points that the order flows through. She's asking on behalf of people who wants to create a mockup. Yeah.
Okay, mockup meaning when you say pieces of information, you mean the number of rows and columns. Is that it?
Can I invite Jing Yi to key in maybe more details about your question so that Ryan can answer correctly?
Hang on, I'm reading the question myself. I mean, we can give a sample, I guess, but this would be similar to, because this is personal data. I mean, strictly speaking, it's not personal data, it's business information. But however, again, we require NDA before we can send a sample.
Ryan, I think Jing Yi has clarified what she's looking for. What information the operator needs to collect via WhatsApp or Excel?
Yeah. So I think it'll be easier to send a sample, but hopefully it'll be okay to send a simple NDA. Because those are actual live contact details. Contact details. But basically, it's contact details, company they are from, what time they want to pick up, what are they picking up, what pieces, how many orders of, let's say, PCA, PCB, laptop C, what time they want to collect, what are the restrictions. So it's really delivery information, right? But because it's a B2B customer, they have, it's not as standardized as a B2C, right? Because B2C, all you need to do is what time do they want, where do they stay? That's pretty much all. B2B, there are other idiosyncrasies, like things like office hours, and not just office hours, hours that they don't take delivery, which can change. So there's a slight complication there, right? And like I said earlier, they don't just make one consolidated order. They make multiple orders, and they expect you to consolidate everything into one sweet time slot for them. But that's life. Yeah. So we can send a sample, perhaps that might be better. So if you do one, just let us know. We can extract one.
Okay. And I suppose they have to sign an NDA as well.
Yeah, of course. I mean, that one is personal data. We have.
Okay. Okay. Got it. Yeah. So Jing Yi, I hope that answers your question. Yeah. Thank you, Jing Yi. Ryan, I just want to ask you, what sort of preferred solution format do you have in mind? Do you want a hosted service kind, or you want something hosted on the cloud, or or within YCH servers?
So I think we are open, but if it be cloud, it would be best primarily. I said because this would have to be deployed in Malaysia. So if it's something that needs to be deployed on premises, then it'll be a bit difficult to manage logistically speaking. So if it's a web-based or whatever, that's fine.
Okay, so the important point is that it'll be tested in Malaysia, like it'll be hosted. I mean, it's hosted on a cloud, but it'll be used in Malaysia primarily.
Yeah, I mean the users are based in Malaysia, so they'll be the ones that say you
Okay.
only.
Thank you. Just to reinforce that point to the audience, that yeah, the solution will be actually used by users based in Malaysia. Yeah. Okay.
My English is fine.
Final
My English is
round
fine.
of Is,
Yeah.
English is fine.
Sorry,
Okay.
I preempted the
English
question.
fine.
Yeah, English is fine. We operate only on English.
Oh, you read my mind, Ryan. Yeah, it's okay. So on this, the solution can be in English, no issue. Yeah. Okay, I'm just waiting for more questions coming. If not, I'm going to let Ryan and team finally take a rest after a long round of presentation. So calling once, calling twice, last round of questions for this challenge by YCH Group. Okay, I don't see anybody raising hands, so I guess that's it. Okay, that concludes the Q&A for this third challenge by YCH Group. But ladies and gentlemen, once again, if you have any follow-up questions, right, just email us at info@openinnovation.sg and we'll direct them to Ryan's team for them to answer you as well. Okay, so thank you very much, Ryan and team. Thank you very much for giving us a very clear rundown of the 3 business challenges hosted by YCH Group on the OIP. Thank you, and we look forward to an exciting bundle of submissions for all your 3 challenges. Thank you very much, Ryan. Hope to see you guys in the future. Thank you, guys.
All the best.
Good afternoon.
Thank you,
okay, thank you. Bye-bye.